wherever you're watching, listening on felixlowtv.co.uk. My name is Stuart Acker and this is the Top 10 show. In front of me I've got my script, I've got the East Anglian Daily Times, The Sun and the Daily Mirror. Currently the two most popular tabloids in the UK and the best-selling local rag in Suffolk, and I'm going to talk you through the front pages of them before I get to my 10 favourite news stories over the past week. Count it down from 10 to number 1. Well, aren't you lucky? Okay, we're starting with the most popular tabloid in the UK. It is the Sun newspaper, of course. The front page of the Sun looks like this today. Cop took a bullet for me. This is another twist in the story of Ian Dibble, the hero cop who was murdered in Essex. And he said that the cop actually took a bullet for this guy, Trevor Marshall. Lucky to be alive, Trevor Marshall told of his terror as he was chased and shot by the crazed gunman, Peter Reeves, 64, who has indeed been found dead in Essex. And as he says later on in the Sun newspaper, you expect this sort of thing in downtown LA, not in Essex, as what I say. Yeah, he's right. A little bit of fury over here on the left-hand side. Whereas fury erupted last night as government plans to give people a human right to benefits. Angry Tory MPs accused a panel appointed by Ken Clarke of being hijacked by lefties, as the Sun puts it. But you can read more about that inside the Sun newspaper today. At the back page of the Sun, FIFA to probe Premier bets fix. FIFA last night launched a probe into Klaus Wundkampf's sensational betting claims. World Football's governing body reacted quickly after the Sun newspaper revealed that the former Southampton skipper had confessed to spot fixing in Premier League games. Very interesting back page for once. I'm not really into sport, not really into football especially, but hey, that sounds interesting. And also in the Sun newspaper, more my thing, is Lewis Hamilton being spotted out with a mystery woman. But not just that, he's also apparently got a recording deal with J. Cole, the American rapper. And I thought, hang on a minute, I don't know if that's actually going to be right. It could actually turn out to be a Stan Collymore. Remember, his recording career failed before it even started. Anyway, that's the Sun. Done. Mirror, front page. Billionaire wife dead in house for week. How different can you get from the Sun to the Mirror? Heiress Eva Rausing could have been dead for a week before she was found. Her husband, Hans Christian Rausing, was being treated last night over fears he suffered a breakdown. Believe me, if you see them there, Eva and Hans, and if you see the pictures inside of what they used to look like, you wouldn't believe they're the same people. They look so different. And it goes on to say inside the Mirror today, the dangers of drug addiction and how it changes people, especially the appearance. So if you look inside the Mirror, you'll be able to see what they used to look like. If I turn to page 4 and 5, it might be a little too small to see on the TV, but there is a picture down below here of Hans with a beard, full of face, and Eva smiling, completely different looking to what they do now. They just look like different people. And on the back, actually, before I go to the back page of the Mirror, pot calling the kettle black here. The Daily Mirror reports of Kate Middleton's fury at being snapped on holiday in her bikini. Why, it's almost as if they don't run a tabloid newspaper at all. Really, that's weird. They're complaining about her being snapped in a bikini. Well, it's almost as if they don't do the same thing themselves. Shock. Back page of the Mirror. I didn't deserve the sack. Andre Villas-Boas last night broke his silence on his Chelsea sacking and labelled Roman Abramovich as a promise-breaking quitter. You can read more about that in today's Daily Mirror if you get one of them. So that's that. Over and done with. The East Anglian Daily Times right now. Local news at its best. Or worst in this case, not the journalistic quality, but rather the story. Teenager dies in horror accident near where I live in Stowmarket. A motorcyclist has died, apparently after losing control of his bike and crashing. Apparently he hit a pavement obstacle. So police have sealed off Station Road West in Stowmarket, Gipping Way at Station Road, and said, yeah, the 18-year-old male lost control of his KTM 640cc bike and collided with an obstacle on the pavement, possibly a road sign. So, a little bit, I would say stupid, because I really don't want to speak ill of the dead. But surely, if it was a road sign, it's big enough to see. But RIP to the teenage motorcyclist. Good news, however. Harry Martin, Team GP hockey star Harry looks the part. It's all about how he's looking his part going into the Olympics here. We're all behind Harry here. Harry Martin, the Ipswich hockey player, So we're cheering him on as he goes and plays hockey in the Olympics. Back page, Paul Jewell believes he is finally starting to stop the short-term thinking that has engulfed Ipswich Town, and he has signed Luke Chambers as part of his long-term thinking for the town. So that is the back page of the East Anglian Daily Times today. Now it's on to my top 10 show. So this is where I count down 10 stories back to back to back. 10 news stories. Some are serious, some are plain odd, and some you just won't believe that they're actually true. So let's get started with number 10. And there is a shake-up at Marks & Spencer's as the sales slide. Marks & Spencer revealed an overhaul of its top team on Tuesday as it reported its worst performance in non-food sales for more than 3 years. That's the next picture. Now, Kate Bostock, who is responsible for clothing ranges as head of general merchandise, will leave the group in October after the slide in sales, with former Debenhams and Jaeger boss Belinda Earle coming in as style director. The 6.8% decline in clothing and general merchandise sales in the 13 weeks to June the 30th, which has been the worst since December 2008, will ramp up pressure on Chief Executive Mark Boland, who faces shareholders at the company's annual meeting this week. He has blamed continuing stock supply issues and the poor weather conditions for the weak trading figures at the company's 700 stores in the UK. The retailer, get this, is now worth even less than its market competitor Next. You know Next, the high street retailer of clothing? They're worth more than Marks & Spencer's. On the London stock market, that is, anyway. While online fashion store ASOS added to the strain by reporting a better-than-expected 8% rise in UK sales this week. Food sales, which were boosted by the celebrations surrounding the Diamond Jubilee, rose 0.6%, and then overall like-for-like sales were, in total, 2.8% lower. The group also said that the rollout of its new design of stores was on track after it previously admitted, and I definitely agree with this, its outlets were difficult to shop in. Hey, if you want to get trampled on and you want to get confused and disorientated whilst shopping in a supermarket, I suggest turning up on a local fair, going on the waltzer ride about 5 times and then shopping in Asda, rather than shopping in a Marks & Spencer. But hey, if they roll out the new design of shops, I'll take back the dismissive remark. But at the moment, especially the one in Bury St Edmunds, I want to get out of there as soon as I get in. No offence to them. Number 9. Okay, this is the anti-pylon stance that the Suffolk County Council has enforced. Cabinet members have backed Suffolk County Council's response to National Grid's plans for controversial pylons between Bramford and Twinstead. The strongly worded response for the authority says that each and every section of the line should be undergrounded, adding that the energy giant has not adequately responded to local concerns on the impact of the scheme on local communities and the local economy. The report, which went before the County Council's Cabinet on Tuesday, said a fully underground scheme would result in only a 40p increase per household bill. It said the reason for this report is to ensure that the County Council does all that is possible to both avoid and mitigate the damaging effects of National Grid's proposals upon Suffolk and Essex. And coming up, I do have the total amount. This is estimated to cost about £615 million to completely bury the National Grid's energy supply over the current cost of £207.7 million. So the question that we're putting to you today is, would you rather save money and have the eyesores of pylons cluttering up the countryside, or would you rather a small hike in your energy and electricity bills over the next few years, but have the pylons taken down and it all completely underground? And that's exactly what the Suffolk County Council is deliberating on at the moment. So 10 and 9, done and dusted. On to number 8. Right, this is unfortunately, I can believe this. I would say it's stranger than truth. Strange to be believed, but I can believe this. On a train from Ipswich to London this week, actually Wednesday or Tuesday, passengers watched in disbelief when a fight broke out on a London-bound commuter train in a dispute to be believed over lack of elbow room. Watching that, can you believe it? Yes, you can. The fracas aboard the 5:30 a.m. Greater Anglia service from Norwich to Liverpool Street via Ipswich left one man with cuts to his face. Another man was arrested on board by an off-duty officer who happened to be travelling on the train. One passenger who asked to remain anonymous said he had never seen anything like it. He said, "Everybody was a bit shocked. The fight appeared to be over elbow room. The carriage wasn't even full at the time," which leads me to say, why didn't the gentleman just move to different parts of the carriage if it wasn't full? They didn't have to stand like sardines like this. They could have moved. Anyway, it is believed the altercation, which took place in a standard class carriage, got out of hand as the train neared Chelmsford at around 10 to 7 in the morning. The men had been sitting together in the centre of the carriage when trouble flared. The spokesman for the British Transport Police confirmed a 46-year-old man was arrested on board the service by an off-duty officer, and the man was arrested on suspicion of causing actual bodily harm. Talking of which, have you read 50 Shades of Grey? Have you heard about it? Of course you have. It is the biggest selling book since Harry Potter, perhaps even breaking Harry Potter's record as the biggest selling online order, anyway, via Amazon. But have you ever gone to an altercation like this just because your girlfriend won't stop reading 50 Shades of Grey? Have you ever thought of squirting her in the face with HP sauce? No? Well, this man has. A man attacked his girlfriend with brown sauce after she refused to stop reading best-selling erotic novel 50 Shades of Grey. Raymond Hodgson, 31, assaulted Emma McCormick by squirting the sauce into her face. Carlisle Magistrates Court heard, and get this for the kicker. Hodgson said that he threw brown sauce at McCormick to show her what saucy really meant. Boom, boom, it's true. Prosecutor Adrian Harris explained to the court the actions of the man. He said Mr. Hodgson thought the book was pornographic and said that she should not read such literature. The argument continued into the following day with the two exchanging text messages. The court was then told how Hodgson went round to McCormick's house with a bottle of brown sauce to continue the argument. Prosecutor Harris added, "She went to close the door and he jammed his foot into the door, slapped her once in the face and then squirted her with a bottle of sauce." Hodgson, okay, this is where you might think, oh, this is a little bit harsh. He was charged with common assault. Okay, that's one. He was ordered to pay McCormick £100 compensation. 2, at £85 towards prosecution costs. 3, he also received an imposed curfew from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. 4, and a 6-month community order. 5, that's one mega expensive bottle of HP sauce. The couple are still, however, in touch with each other, so at least the story has a happy ending. However, they're not in touch with each other after 8 p.m, I think, because that's when his curfew ends or starts. Anyway, are you a computer game geek? Have you got retro games consoles up in your loft, your attic, up in the upstairs cupboard, just gathering dust? Maybe dust them down, put them on eBay. You might make yourself a small fortune, like this guy did. One of the largest collections of Sega, Nintendo and PC Engine games has sold for more than $1 million on eBay. Consisting of more than 5,000 games, a bid of €999,999 and 99 cents, that's £793,000 or $1.23 million, was accepted by the seller. The lot includes every game ever released on a Sega system, as well as all Nintendo games from the Nintendo Entertainment System. Remember with the big old blocks, you had to blow on them like this, and then you had to open up the console, jam them in, and push it down, close up the console and press the button. I used to have one of them games. And it has every single game released by Nintendo from the Nintendo Entertainment System to the Super Nintendo right through to the GameCube, and each game has been stored out of direct sunlight in a pet-free, smoke-free home. So happy gaming to the person who bought them, and mega happy days for the seller who's now a millionaire. Congratulations. 5. Okay, this is really local, but also just a little bit odd, but I applaud this guy. In Ipswich, this is Matt Borman, and he's taken on a midlife crisis challenge. He undertakes weird and terrifying challenges for charity. A father of 4 has chosen to tackle a series of bizarre, death-defying and terrifying challenges in an unusual fundraising mission. Matt Borman decided to take on 40 challenges in the year leading up to his 40th birthday. Mr. Borman started the Midlife Crisis Challenge on September 20th, 2011 in support of the Advanced Centre, the Institute for the Scotsman Technique, and a special girl called Leah Clark. And what you saw in the picture was him skydiving. And Leah, 9, is the daughter of Mr. Borman's best friend John Clark. She suffers with an undiagnosed condition which has left her enduring up to 120 fits per day. Sad times. He said, "I wanted to do something that was more than just raising money. I wanted people to sit up and take notice and see exactly what the charity is too." The ideas for the challenges came from a combination of suggestions from friends and things that Matt really hated, such as eating one Brussels sprout a day for 40 days. One of the challenges is to get in the Guinness Book of Records, and he's prepared 3 possible attempts. He will either attempt to skip 5 kilometres in less than the current record of 31 minutes, beat the current record of doing 61 star jumps in a minute, or break vinyl records in half in a minute with 62 to beat. Matt is filming his challenges. He's also had to plan his challenges carefully, as some could only be completed at certain times of the year, and everything had to fit around his full-time job as a development underwriter, and I have no idea what one of them is. Number 4 here, and I completely agree with this one. Are you a Facebook or Twitter addict? Yes, I am. My name is Stuart Acker, I'm 25, and I'm addicted to Facebook. Here's a little funny thing. I was going to clean my house, but then someone commented on my status. Facebook, Twitter and other social networks make people feel anxious and inadequate, a new survey has found. In research conducted by the University of Salford for their charity Anxiety UK, 53% of people surveyed said that using the sites had altered their behaviour, with half saying it was for the worse. Many respondents felt that they had been negatively affected by the social networks, particularly due to a loss of confidence after comparing their own achievements to those of others. Of the 298 people surveyed, 60% said their sleep pattern had been disrupted as a result of using these services because they found it difficult to relax after reading the statuses and altering their minds afterwards. The survey further revealed anxiety among people over not being able to access the social networks, with 55% saying they would get worried and uncomfortable if they were prevented from logging into Facebook or Twitter or their email. Over 60% said that they could only really have a proper relaxing break by switching off their electronic gadgets, reported the Daily Telegraph. And last year, a study found that people blocked from accessing their phones, the internet and television can be like drug addicts going cold turkey. Scientists deprived volunteers of access to gadgets for 24 hours and saw symptoms in the people similar to those exhibited in smokers giving up cigarettes. The majority of people in the experiment failed to last 24 hours without being asked to be reunited with their technology. It's a little bit sad in this day and age, really. Number 3, here we go. This is a story about how Twitter can be used for the best. A Jack Russell has been reunited with its owner in Ireland over Twitter. Patch, the Jack Russell seen here, was discovered unaccompanied on a train shortly after it left Kilcock Station in County Kildare early on Wednesday morning, July the 4th, and was handed over to Irish Rail staff when the service arrived at its destination in Dublin. Irish Rail used its Twitter account to post a photograph of the dog, along with a message, "Lost dog, boarded at Kilcock at 6:49 this morning, currently being looked after in Perth Station, please retweet." Patch's owner, Deirdre Anglin, contacted Irish Rail half an hour later following almost 500 retweets of the original message. The dog had gone missing from her home on Tuesday afternoon, July the 3rd. Anglin told the Irish Sun, "When I saw Irish Rail's tweet, I was absolutely delighted and so pleased they thought of using Twitter. But one must ask, why was she following a railway station or railway company on Twitter anyway? Is her life that boring?" I mean, okay, get this. The dog was missing from her home. He didn't go missing on the train, but he obviously boarded the train. But he said here that the dog went missing from her home. So she was obviously following the railway service on Twitter already. And I'm just thinking, is her life that boring that she has to follow a railway service? But anyway, it all turned out for the good. She managed to find her dog via that, so what do I know? Number 2, here we go. Talking of train services, this next picture will make you laugh. I'm not kidding, it's the expression. There you go. How enjoy it. An emu was spotted on the lower Stafford to Ipswich train line, looking exactly like that. Hello, emu. A train driver was met with a baffling sight earlier this week when an emu was spotted running across the Ipswich to Lowestoft line. National Rail recorded a sighting of the exotic bird near Saxmundham at 11:20 a.m, but it's believed to have caused little disruption. A spokesman for National Rail said it is not uncommon to have cows and sheep on the line, but an emu is rare. When there are reports of animals on the line, trains are cautioned though before being sped up later to make up the time. The incident comes after an ostrich forced a train to slow down near Wickham Market on Thursday, May the 24th, when it wandered onto the line between Ipswich and Saxmundham. And I had to stop looking at the monitor over here because it was starting to make me giggle. Number one, okay, my favourite news story over the past week has now come to that time where we wrap it up. Okay, this is a really local story to me. It happened in Bury St Edmunds, and it's also an old news story, so it fits in perfectly. Bury St Edmunds here, superheroes and pants. Take a walk down St Nicholas Hospice in Nowton Park. If you were in Bury St Edmunds on Sunday, you could be forgiven for thinking that the town had been overrun by superheroes. In fact, it was one of many men in pants in aid of St Nicholas Hospice care in Nowton Park on Sunday. The park on the outskirts of Bury St Edmunds was overrun by men wearing superhero outfits or brightly coloured underpants over their usual attire for the first men-only Load of Pants fundraising walk. I think it's their version of Tickled Pink. And those taking part were encouraged to take part in a fun lavatory-themed warm-up. There we go, proves it's all men. They had a lavatory-themed warm-up before the walk, with moves including sit on the toilet and reach for the toilet roll. Oh yes, what a guy thing to do. They then set off on a 5-mile walk around Nowton Park. At the finish line, everyone was greeted with a bottle of Green King IPA, brewed very locally, actually in Bury St Edmunds, or other beverage for those driving, and a pastina sandwich donated by Ginsters. A total of 40 men took part in the event, raising what is believed to have been £5,000 for the hospice. It's a great story to end on. I have been Stuart Acker. You have been fantastic. I'm on Felixstowe Radio, Thursday afternoons 2 till 4 p.m. for Pop Fever, and Saturday afternoons 3 till 5 p.m. for Saturday Pop Fever. So hopefully you can join me then. If not, I'm back on Felixstowe TV, the same time, or just a little bit earlier, next week for another great Top 10 show, and whisper it will be my 20th, even though you'll only find about 12 on the website. Anyway, this has been felixstowetv.co.uk. I have been Stuart Acker. This has been the Top 10 show, and I'll be seeing you again same time or just a little bit earlier next week. Take care, stay safe, bye bye.